inflow.
Mm-hmm.
When cash outflow equals cash inflow, do you accept the project or you reject it?
When they are the same, you reject it. You don't go for it because there may be some inherent risks.
Okay.
In anything you do in life that deals with the future, there is always an inherent risk. There is a risk that something can go wrong.
Okay.
So in case something went wrong, because as accountants, we should not be always optimistic, but we should be pessimistic. Okay? We should always assume that something can go wrong. Okay? So if you advise and say, because according to our analysis, the discounted inflows are supposed to equal discounted outflows. It may be the case when you implement, the discounted inflows may be more, but as a accountant, you don't advise. You always, you are always conservative in your advice, so that if something goes wrong tomorrow, it won't be wholly your problem. It won't be wholly as a result of your decision. Is that clear?
Okay. Because what I'm taking it from the perspective of some projects that don't yield that much outcome, but people maybe consider some other factors that maybe they will benefit from the project, even though there's not going to be that much cash inflow for the project. But assuming maybe the community can be benefiting from the project, so maybe you can accept the project based on that.
Yeah, there are some projects that are not dependent on their cash benefits and so on and so forth, but the social element. Okay, the social element. But for projects like this, we are interested in the profitability of it. So therefore, you accept or reject the project based on its profitability. Okay, so that's the situation we are talking about here. Is that okay? Dumbia, shall we move?
Okay.
Okay, so before the break, we were talking about Npv analysis. So we all agree that Npv is the difference between the discounted cash inflows of a project and the discounted cash outflows of the project. And we've also mentioned that if the discounted inflows are greater than the discounted outflows, we should accept. If the discounted cash outflows are greater than the inflows, we reject. And if the two are equal, we also reject, because there may be some inherent risks. Okay, so now let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of this method. Overall, like I said, Npv is the best method, is the best investment appraisal method for the purpose of long-term investment analysis. To be honest, Npv is the best. Okay, for some of these reasons. One most important one is it considers time value of money. Okay, it considers money if it is going to be invested today, if it is going to invest, if it is going to be earned in the future, in the analysis that will be captured by discounting it to its present value. Okay, and when we are doing Npv analysis, it considers all relevant cash flows and all relevant cash outflows. Okay, unlike the payback period, as we have seen. Okay, risk can be incorporated into decision because we've seen that if we do our analysis, we came to a conclusion that inflows equal to outflows, we don't go ahead because we are trying to incorporate some risk in the decision. Okay, so of course it provides clearer and unambiguous decision because it deals with cash. If cash is there and it's discounted to its current value, and then that is it. You don't have any how to call it unclear stuff in the decision. So everything is clear. Once it is positive, accept. If it is negative, reject. If it is at equilibrium, reject. Okay. So, of course, anything that has got advantage will have disadvantage, but the disadvantages are definitely very small. One of the disadvantages is it will have some, assumptions that will be put into, the calculations and so on and so forth. But those ones are really, really very slim. Okay, so having that understanding in Npv analysis, let's do a question. So we do a simple one, like I said, and we will look at the exam type question. So the first one is definitely very simple. So we're not going to look at it. We're going to look at the second one. Okay, the second one, which is I think it's on which page? It's on page 12. It's on page 12 because the reason is that one has got a percent. That one has got a point in its percentage, 16.5%. Okay, so the first one, you can look at that yourself. You can look at that yourself. That's slogan, 15%. So we're going to look at the question on page 12, which says interactive question 3. Okay, is a non-standard discount factor. Okay, it's non-standard for the simple reason that it's 16.5. It has a point in it. So that's why I want us to do that instead. So let's refer to that. Have you seen the question on page 12?
Yes, Mr. Phone. I just want to ask one question before you start.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Juan.
Like the discounted cash inflow, does it means that your gain from your investment, the discounted one?
Yes, the gain on the investment or the profit on investment, yes. So it's like, to arrive at your gain or your profit, what do you consider? You consider all the inflows, that's all the revenues, all the incomes, but this time they must all be in cash nature. And you consider what? All your expenditures, your outflows, they must be in cash nature. No depreciation, no amortization, no provision, nothing. So those are the two that you consider, you net them up. So in other words, your NPV is your discounted profit, but it's a profit without notional income or expenditure. You understand? So it won't have anything like revaluation gain, revaluation loss. It won't have anything like depreciation. It won't have anything like amortization and so on and so forth. So everything has to be cash in nature.
Does that mean like the estimate should be ignored?
What should be ignored?
The estimates, those depreciation, revaluation, but all of them,
all of them don't come to the cash flow statement. No, they don't come.
Yeah.
When you're doing your Npv analysis, they don't come because they are non-cash. Okay, they are non-cash. So all other methods, the only method that accepts those notional costs or notional income is what? The ARR, the account rate of return. But the rest are all based on cash flow. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Good. So let's look at this interactive question 3. Please, if you don't have it, screenshot it. Screenshot it so that we can go to our spreadsheet and answer it there. Interactive question 3, right? 280, 149, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to our spreadsheet and do it there. Send. That's the present, share. Okay, so I'm going to open a new sheet. I'll call it Q3. So I'll call it what? NPV Q3. NPV analysis, question 3, interactive question. Okay, So we all have the question before us. It says that a project has the following forecast cash flows: year 0, 280, year 1, 149, and so on and so forth. Using 2 decimal places in all discount factors. Take note of this. Using 2 decimal places in all discount factors, complete the following table to calculate the net present value of the project at a cost of capital of 16.5%. Okay? So your discount factor should be at 2DP, 2 decimal point. Right? So if you look at the table above, it says year 0, 280,000 in bracket. What does that mean?
Cash outflow. Cash outflow.
Okay, what is year 0?
Year 0, I think is the year that you have started the business. You know, in that year, you normally make an investment.
Yeah, so when you talk about year 0 means now. The time you are taking the decision, the time you want to take decision. Year 0 is now. The time you want to do the analysis so you can go ahead with your. So year 0 in bracket 280,000 means an initial capital outlay of 280,000 now that you want to do. Okay? And year 1, 149, 128, 84, 70. What does that mean? What are those lines?
The cash inflow.
They are going to be the cash inflows that you generate. First one, 149,000, you're going to get cash inflow of what you're going to get cash inflow of 149,000 at the end of year 1. 128,000, you're going to get it at the end of year 2. 70,000 at the end of year 4. I hope you understood it. And the 16.5% is the cost of capital, which is the same as the interest rate. Okay? So we've been given on the table that you have your year, you have your cash flow, which will be these inflows and outflows here. Your discount factor you have to calculate at 16.5%. When you multiply the discount factor with the cash flow, it gives you your present value. So that's exactly what we're coming to do. Okay, so I just call it interactive question 3. Interactive question 3. So we have our table here. We have cash flow. We have our DF. You can shorten it, discount factor, DF 16.5%. So just call it DF 16.5%. And we have our present value. You can also shorten that as PV. Okay. So here is going to be 0 and 1. So what are we going to do to make sure this appears, this is replicated to year 4? So I'm going to align this to the center. What are we going to do? Can someone tell me?
You will highlight from 0 to 1 and then drag downwards.
Okay, I highlight from 0 to 1 and drag downwards up to year 4. Thank you, Mr. Dumbe. Good. So year 0 is always cash flow now. And what's our cash flow now?
280.
280, so negative 280,000. I'm going to format that in such a way that I will choose the financial number formatting. The financial number formatting will give you negative numbers in brackets, and it will take the numbers to 2 decimal places with 1,000 separator. So we can choose the financial number formatting and then reduce the decimal place to 0 decimal place. Okay, so this is what we're going to get.
Sorry, Mr. Fofana, I'm using Excel, so
The same
I don't
thing.
have.
Yes,
I'm using accounting currency.
So use the one that says financial.
Okay, financial is not among them. It's only accounting, and you have a currency number. Those are the ones I'm seeing, unscientific.
Okay, just use a format that has got a bracket.
Okay.
Okay, that has got a bracket, just like you can see on here, the negative numbers in bracket. Okay, so you can just use that one. Right, so the cash flow, if year 0 is an outflow, an initial outflow of 280,000, that's why it's in bracket. Then year 1 is 149,000. Year 2 is how much?
128.
128,000. Year 3?
84.
84, 1, 2, 3. Year 4?
70.
70. Correct. So now we have to calculate our discount factor for 16.5%. Who can give me the formula, please? We have to take this to 2DP, yeah? So what formula should I enter here?
Let me try.
What formula should I enter here?
Sorry, Mr. Fofan.
Yes, Omar, you want to try?
No, for the 0 year, the first year, should it be discounted since it is already now?
Okay, yes, but it should have a discount factor.
Okay.
What's the discount factor?
Let me try that.
What's the discount factor for year 0?
Year 0.
Mm-hmm.
I think the discount factor should be 0. Oh?
Should be 0.
No, I mean, like for the first year, you know, the discount factor means that to bring it in the present year.
Yes.
Yes.
So what should be the discount factor?
I think it should be, in this case, should it be?
It should be 1 then.
Should it be 1 or 0?
It's 1
Who
every
suggested
month.
that it should be 0?
1.
The discount factor should be 1 plus the interest rate, right?
No, we are talking about the discount factor for year 0.
It is already in the present.
Discount factor
Present value.
is 1 all over. Discount factor is 1 all over 1 plus the rate, which is 16.5%.
Rabia, we are talking about year 0.
We are not going to discount that one, the year 0.
Oh, okay.
Year 0 is now, that means it's already on today's value.
So we divide it by 1.
It should have a discount factor. What discount factor should be there?
Let me try. Do you mean the formula?
Yes.
Equals to.
No. For year 0, what should be the discount factor?
I think it should be 1.
That one,
It should
like,
be 1.
I think you can.
Huh?
Like for year 0.
It should be 0. It should be 0, Mr. Fofana.
It should be 0, huh?
Yes.
1. No, Mr.
No, it shouldn't be 0.
It should be 1.
Mind you,
It should be 1.
we have seen in our formula that we derive that to get the present value, we multiply the cash flow by the discount factor. So if we multiply the cash flow by this 0 discount factor, will it give us this?
No,
it's going to give us 0.
It should be raised to
0 multiplied by any number is 0.
Raised to power
So
0.
what should be the discount factor?
Let me try.
I don't know if it's 1, Mr. Fofana. It's 1.
You have to be sure. This is a simple one. If you multiply any number
it is 1.
by a particular
It's
number,
1. It's 1.
What is that number?
It's 1.
It should be 1.
Simple, 1. If you multiply 1 by any number, it gives you that number. Simple. But if you multiply any number by 0, it gives you 0. You know, 0 is very powerful. If you multiply by any number, it gives you 0. We all know that from primary school. But if you multiply any number by 1, it gives you that number. So the discount factor for year 0 is always 1. Because 1 multiplied by any number gives you that number. Why 1? Because we are not discounting year 0. Year 0 is already on present value. So take note also, any discount factor you are going to use must be less than 1. Why we call it discount? We call it discount because we want to bring the value less than its current value. That's why we are discounting it. So any number that should come here must be less than 149. Any number that should come here must be less than 128. You have to take note of this. If you do any number, any calculation here is greater than any of these numbers, you know that automatically you are wrong. You are not discounting, but you are compounding. Take note of that. So that's why when you multiply any number by 1, it will give you that number. If you multiply any number by less than 1, it will give you less than that number. If you multiply any number greater than 1, your answer will be greater than that number you multiply by. Know these things and you are safe. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, let me try the formula then.
Good. So what should be the formula? The formula we should start from year 1, okay? D6.
Like equals to.
We say equals.
Round. Round.
What is round?
Round it up. Oh, should we round it up? I think it should be.
Okay, we can use the round. We can use the round. We can use it without the round. Let's see how the round is going to be. So equals, okay, just put ROUND.
Yes, 1 divided by. It's how many?
No. If you say round, you open the bracket.
Open bracket, yes, exactly.
Okay, so you have to open bracket again. 1 divided by.
1 divided by. It's how many percent?
It's 16.5.
16.5.
Yes, it's 1 divided by 6.5. 1 divided by 1.16.
1 divided by
1.16.
1.
It should be 17.6, 17.5. Sorry, Mr. Fofana.
1 divided by 1.16.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's not correct.
No. Well, that is not correct.
It's 1 divided by
Mr. Fofana.
1.65.
1 plus 1.
1 divided by 1.165.
Yeah.
1 plus 16.5.
So,
that is 17.5. Yeah.
Let's put it this way, simple. Let's put it this way. What we are doing is we are saying 1, we added to 16.5. 16.5 is simply 0.165. So when you add 1 plus 0.165, is it not 1.165?
Yeah, it's 1.165.
Excellent. So we say equals round, bracket opens again, 1 divided by 1.165. Okay, Omar, continue.
Close the bracket. Raise to power.
Raised to power?
1.
Raised to power 1. So what do we use for raised to power?
I think it's shift and 6. Let me check it in my copy.
6 and 6, correct. Yes, you're correct. Shift and 6. And we
now
start
close the bracket.
We close the bracket. If you close the bracket, look at it, what it has done. It has closed this bracket and that one. So there's still one more bracket that is open, needs to be closed. Okay, after that, what should I do?
Comma. 2. Is it 2 dp?
Look at the year. Is it year 2 or year 1? Oh, sorry. We're taking it to, sorry, to decimal place, to 2 dp. Yeah, you're correct. 2 dp, exactly, yes.
Yes, now close the bracket.
I close the bracket. Then I enter.
Yeah.
Correct. So what should I do again, Omar?
You replicate.
I replicate. So if I replicate, look at what's going to happen. It's going to be the same throughout.
Now you are just going to change the raised to power.
Good, very good. So we change the raised to power. Instead of 1, we are in year 2, we change it to 2. When we are in year 3, we change it to year 3. And when we are in year 4, we change it to 4. Excellent. So we have 0.86, 0.74, 0.63, 0.54. So look at it. Because we are discounting all these numbers here, are they greater than 1 or less than 1? All these numbers here.
They are less than 1.
They are less than 1. So naturally, if we multiply these numbers by this, whatever we are going to get, is it going to be greater than these numbers or less than them?
It's going to be less than the
It's going to
number.
be less than that. It's going to be less than that. Excellent. Okay, so let's express all this into 2 decimal places. Okay, so I change them to 2dp. So how do you get the present value then? Give me
You
the
just
formula
multiply.
to get the present value.
Multiply the discount factor by the cash flow.
We multiply the discount factor by the cash flow. Excellent. So we say equals this multiplied by the cash flow. We enter and we replicate. Can you see? So let's format this. It's giving us minus because we have not formatted. So let's format it into our number, and then we have our financial number formatting, and we reduce it to 0dp. Can you see? Excellent. Good. So that's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Omar and Nima, for that brilliant answer. So this is the way we do it using Excel. So if you are using your calculator, so please take note how you're going to do it. You know, in your calculator, you cannot say equals round, but simply what you will do is you say 1 divided by 1.165 raised to power 1. So when you are using your calculator, you will only do this, finish. Okay? And then when you look at the numbers, you can round them up on your own, or some calculators you can take them to, some Casio calculators, you can take them to 2 decimal place to 3 decimal place like that. You don't have to do that on your calculator. So if you don't know how to do it, you don't have to worry. But once you see your answer, you'll just be able to, how to call it, take it up to 2. But what you have to understand is, once you have calculated this, before you clear it, whatever remains in the calculator, use it to multiply by this to get your answer. Okay? Otherwise, what you will get will be a bit less than this because you will already have expressed this to 0.86 when this could be greater than that if you have taken it to more than 2dp. Okay? So take note of that. So we have all this. So how do we calculate our NPV? So we calculate our NPV. So our NPV, I'll give you, it's equal to the PV, the present value, the total present value of all inflows and our total present value of all outflows. So what's the total present value of our inflows? How do we add the total present value of our inflows?
Some of the cash inflows from year 1 to the final year.
Okay, so we say equal sum, bracket opens, we click from year 1 to year 4, we close the bracket, that gives us our total. And the date of outflow is what? It's only one number, isn't it? And
yeah, the initial outlay.
We click on that. So the NPV is the sum of the two, since the order number is also in negative, so we can just add them. So the NPV is 33,580. Okay, is this clear? We can align this to the right. Interactive question, so I'm going to put that in an order. I marked, and I'm going to center it. I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to make the text white. I'll make the background blue. I increase the font size to 14. Then the heading, I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to increase the font size to 12, and I'll underline it. Okay? Is this clear?
So for
Yes,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I had lost connection a little while ago, but I want to know how you got the 33,000. Did you subtract the two present value figures?
Yes, the 33,580, what I did was, we know from our definition that the NPV, the net present value, is the total present value of all inflows less the total present value of all outflows. Okay, that's the discounted ones. Okay, so we know the total present value of inflows is from year one. All these positive are inflows, and only one outflow, that's the initial outlay, that's this 280. So what we did was we added all this to give us 313,580, and then we have only one, we bring that forward. So the formula that we did was we added the two. The reason why we added the two is already this is negative. Okay, if this were not in negative, then we could have said this minus that. But since this is negative, we add them together. Okay, so this is why we had 33,580. I hope it's clear.
Yes, sir, it is. Thank you.
Good, good. Okay, so any questions before we move? We're going to go to do our main question, which is our exam type question. And if anything has to be in exams, it will have to be that type.
Yes,
Mr. Fofana.
Okay, and the question I've already snapshotted. It's on the forum. It's on the forum. Okay. If you have not seen it, I'm going to project it again so that you can be able to screenshot it, and we do it now.
Mr. Fofana, I have a question here.
Yes, go ahead with your question. So this in the meantime, if you have not got the question, is this. Try to screenshot it so that we can use it. Okay, I think it's already on your handouts also, but in case it's not there, this is the question. So make sure you have it. Yeah, go ahead with your question, Mr. Dumia.
Yes, if you want to round the decimal place into 2 dp or 3 dp, if you don't